Namaskar, hello and a very warm welcome to CIET NCERT's special live phone-in program. My name is Tanvi Khurana and today is the first Wednesday of September 2022, and as you all know that every first Wednesday we come here and bring you this series on Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas. And every day we come with a new theme, a new topic, and our today's topic is creating a culture of cyber safety and responsibility. We all know that there are a lot of cyber crimes happening around us. So the whole motto of this discussion, this panel discussion, is to spread awareness. And if we'll be alert, then we'll be safe. So we have a panel discussion here. We have guests. If you have any questions, any queries regarding this topic, please feel free to give us a call. Our number is 8800440559. If you have any questions and you want to email us, the email ID would be cybersafety@ciet.nic.in. You're watching us at this moment on PM eVidya channel number 6 to channel number 12 and also on our YouTube channel, which is NCERT Official. In the live chat box, you can write down your questions, queries and share them with us. So our guests, our experts, they're here till 5 o'clock and there's a lot of talk which is going to happen. So be a part of this discussion, participate and ask your questions. So let me introduce you to our first guest, and he is none other than Dr. Rizal Karim Barbhubia. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Hello.
Sir is an assistant professor from CIET NCERT New Delhi. And along with him, we have one very special guest, and he is Shri Brijesh Singh. Welcome to you, sir. Namaskar. Sir is an IPS officer. He is an additional Director General of Police, Government of Maharashtra. And last but not at all the least, we have with us Miss Nisha Dua. A very warm welcome to you too, ma'am.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, ma'am. Ma'am is the principal consultant at Cyber Peace Foundation. And let me tell you, this whole initiative of Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas is by CIET NCERT and Cyber Peace Foundation. So let me hand over this discussion to Dr. Karim and let me ask him what is the focus of this entire discussion? What are we going to discuss here? So,
Thank you, Tanvi, and good afternoon and welcome all the viewers. So, as Tanvi has already mentioned, under Cyber Jaagrookta Diwas, our broad theme is being a safe and responsible digital citizen, right? So, as you know, cyber safety has many components, but in today's particular this focused panel discussion of 1 hour, we are going to focus on making it a cultural, a habit kind of, creating a culture of cyber safety and responsibility, right? So I would like to touch upon some of the important aspects before I invite my fellow panelists to talk upon in more elaborate on this topic. So when you talk about creation, if you see the title, creating a culture of cyber safety and responsibility. So when you talk about anything linking with a culture, that means we are focusing on making it a part of our routine thing, making it a habit of what? When you are talking about cyber safety, so what are the certain things, certain safety measures, certain precautionary measures as a responsible digital citizen, as a user of digital world, we need to take. So if we talk about school children in this context, so school children in today's world are digital natives, right? So they use internet and digital medium a lot, and this pandemic has further expedited our shift to a digital mode of teaching learning, right? So when students as well as teachers are exposed to the digital world, and they are getting benefited because they are able to access quality content material from cyber world. They are able to listen to the best of the best experts and teachers from across the globe. They are going to get able to collaborate with their peers, not only in their school, in any other school, be it in a higher education lab, right? So given these advantages of cyber world, so one is bound to get attracted and take or leverage the facilities available in the online and digital world. But as we know, when you are in a digital world, you are prone to certain aspects. Certain there can be cyber attacks, there can be maluse of your data, there can be a threat to your privacy, and there are many such aspects. So our role is to ensure that as a native of digital world, what our students, what our teachers need to take in mind, and not only teachers and students, as a citizen itself, what all we need to keep in mind while using the digital mode. Supposing we are using a instant messenger, be it WhatsApp, be it Instagram, be it Telegram, or be it any other such instant messaging app. So now comes the question, these instant messengers are really handy, right? It saves lots of time, and I can reach out to n number of users in a quick amount of time. I can not only chat, not only send my messages, I can send any type of documents as well. But are there any safety concerns, right? If you see your instant messenger, it says messages are encrypted. So what does it mean? So should I also ensure that whenever I am using any such medium for communication, should it be that all my communications are encrypted? When you say something is encrypted, means only me and you, the sender and the receiver, at their respective devices will have the mechanism to see and read the data. Anybody in between during the journey of the data, even if someone comes to know with the and comes in contact with the data, he or she won't be able to decode it and find out what the actual message it is, right? That's the purpose of encryption. So we may not be understanding the technicalities of encryption, how encryption works, but as a user, as a responsible user, for our own safety purpose, probably one example is that we need to figure out how do we find out that when we are communicating through email, through any such communication devices, be it synchronous, be it asynchronous, how do we ensure that everything is happening over an encrypted way or not? Similarly, when we talk about browsing any website, so is it secured, is it not? So one basic easy way to ensure at least the first level of safety is that, is it HTTPS? When you see your browser's address bar, anything before you start www and start the address, before that whether it is http:// or is it HTTPS? Do you get to see a lock symbol over there or not? So that means that your interaction with that website is encrypted. So that means you are relatively safe, right? Now we in this age are very fascinated to share everything over social media platforms. So we need to find out, when we are sharing so many things on social media, so what all safety or precautions we need to keep in mind, so that any ill-intended users should not be able to cause any harm to us, should not do any misuse of our personal things, our data, right? So such measures we need to take, right? So to talk about in finer details on these aspects, without me taking any further time, I would like to immediately call upon my next fellow panelist, Ms. Nisha Duwaji, to share her valuable thoughts and works in this direction. So I request Mr. Nisha Duwaji to please share your thoughts. Over to you, ma'am.
Very honored to be invited for the webinar today. Good afternoon, young friends, dear teachers and parents. So I'll start by sharing brief about Cyber Peace Foundation, which I am a part of. Cyber Peace Foundation is an award-winning civil society organization with a vision to promote cyber peace, cyber safety and cyber security in the society, in order to build awareness and resilience against cyber crimes. Through a policy advocacy, research and outreach, that is the training initiatives, we are proud to say that the organization has impacted and improved millions of lives across the state in the country. We are very honored to be collaborating with NCERT for a number of initiatives like the e-Raksha competition, certification program, ambassador program, and now the Cyber Jaagrookta session for the month of September. And coming to the topic for today, that creating a culture of cyber safety and responsibility. Thank you, Rizal sir, for setting the context, for setting the stage. Why do we say setting a culture of cyber safety? Because cyber safety and responsibility in the cyberspace is not a sporadic thing. And I'll be safe now. I may not be, wearing the safe cap, the safe thinking later. So when something is integrated within you, it is integrated in your mind and is reflected in your actions. So that is culture. So this is very important to imbibe the culture of safety and responsibility in the young ones. Why so? Because we're going to my next slide. This slide will tell all. Because these young millennials are digital natives, unlike us who are digital migrants. Now these digital natives have been born in the digital world. And today a 3-year-old swipes the touch screen like a professional. Okay, and for them there is no difference between the real world and the digital world. It is only the activities that are different. So, like the point says, there is no separation of digital spaces. The digital spaces to them are the real spaces. So, it's very important for us to inculcate that whatever rules, regulations that you follow in your real activities, in your real life activities, you have to follow in your digital practices also. And why do they feel like that? Because for the young ones, the studies happen in the school, in the college, the studies happen online also. Okay, they go out for entertainment, they go out to watch movies, and then there are devices available. They can hear the podcast, the videos, the movies, they can download the songs, they can play any kind of games, they can socialize, chat up with their friends through various apps, shopping, they see their parents doing shopping online, and even financial activities. So in fact, there is nothing that you cannot do in your regular, I'm using the word real life again and again, but it is the real life practices which you cannot do in the online. So for them, there is no difference. So we all know children are the future. They are the future of the society. They are the future of the nation. So responsible digital citizens will make responsible citizens of India. We know that internet has no boundaries. It is global. It has made the world a flat place. Okay, so everybody is connected with each other. So it becomes all the more important for these young people to imbibe these. And who will help them to inculcate these responsibilities? Who will have, how can we promote the responsibility in the students? It is actually the collective responsibility of the entire society. And that includes these children and youth themselves. We have to guide them, we have to mentor them, we have to monitor them. It includes the teachers. Teachers shape the lives of the students. They make them ready for the future in terms of their academic abilities and other skills. So teachers are the first aspect that the children are connected with. And then parents definitely in the house. And the school also, the school plays a huge role. School shapes the future of the children. They spend a lot of time over there. And definitely then when we come to the society and the government, so society and the government also has a responsibility to make these children future ready, internet ready for the digital age. So it is actually a collective responsibility. So coming to the children, so what kind of responsibilities we should inculcate with them, within them? So these are just a few that I have shared over here. So we teach civics in our through our textbooks. So we have the civics, the syllabus says that you have to be model digital citizens. So we should also, along with model digital citizens in our civics books, we should model citizens in our books. We should also teach them the concept of being good global digital citizens. So I suggest that there should be a chapter on citizenship and in the citizenship in the real world, citizenship in the virtual world. Now coming to the rules, from the beginning, we guide our children to follow the rules. For example, a child is crossing the road. Okay, for the safety of the child, we guide the child on the traffic rules. And when the child is learning to cycle, we as parents run along with the child. Whether we are able to or not, why do we run along with the child? We don't want a child to fall down. We want a child to be safe. And then we want a child to follow the rules of the society, whatever they are. So similarly, for the online world, the adults, whether they are teachers or parents or grandparents or elder siblings, everybody has an important role to play. Like we tell them not to talk to strangers in their real life. But we must also kind of inculcate in them that these values have to be transported into the virtual medium. We teach them a lot of values to be followed. The values and ethics are important part of a person, important part of a society. They guide our actions. They help us, differentiate between right from wrong. So some of these values like integrity, kindness, respect, we must help them to inculcate these values in their online practices too. Like we tell them to respect their elders. We tell them to respect the others, give space to the others. Similarly, in the online world, they may be behind the screen. They may not be face to face with a person. But that value of respecting others has to be there. Then this will not give rise to bullying and trolling and other inappropriate actions online. And we tell them to be kind in the real life, to have empathy with the others. Okay. They have to follow the same kindness in the online too. And coming to the most important aspect is the privacy. In our real lives, we never take the photo of the child. And we never let the child take selfie and allow them to paste the hard copies here and there, okay, or to just share those photographs in the society, in the community. Then why are our children not following these privacy concepts in the online life? We have to tell them that it is very, very important not to share everything with everybody. I will later come to why it is not wise to share things with everybody, and why it is so important to protect your privacy. So coming to the teachers play a huge role. Till today, I remember my teachers, and the students may not acknowledge it when they are in the school, but they are totally guided. Teachers are their role models. They want to do what teachers tell them. They don't want to annoy the teachers. They listen to the teachers. So it's very important for the teachers to, again I'm coming to digital citizenship, to inculcate the concept of digital citizenship, because citizenship is a word which encompasses everything. Then the teachers need to actually guide them, ensure that they are learning in a safe mode. Like during COVID, the learning shifted online, and the teachers donned the role of the digital educators. The teachers who had never ever, some of the teachers who had never ever touched computers earlier, they overnight learned these new skills. Why? Because they were dedicated. They did not want their children to lose out the year. At that time, a lot of learning platforms and learning apps came into being. At that time, yes, the teachers were not so ready because they were learning by doing. But now I think our teachers are smarter. 2 years of online learning has taught them a lot. So the teachers must ensure that whatever platforms of online learning, whatever apps are being suggested, and whichever websites are being suggested for the research work, everything has to be vetted by them. So students should be learning in the online space. Like in the schools take responsibility of the student safety during the school hours. Similarly, the safety of students in the online world on those platforms becomes the responsibilities of teachers and students. Then the teacher has to very consciously, encourage responsible behavior. If there is a student who has shown responsibility in his or her action, the teacher can actually give example of the behavior in the online space and award that student and say good about the student, so that the other students are encouraged. So don't we inculcate a sense of responsibility in the students, in the children in the classroom. So similar thing has to be done for them during their online practices. And privacy is something which has to be ensured. During the online classes, a lot of data of students was online. The 40 students in one class have their photo and name and on the online platform. And can you imagine if somebody gets access to all these details, how detrimental it will be for the future of that little child, little mind. So it is very important that the teachers ensure privacy of the students. School में हम क्या करते हैं? We keep the student records in lock, under lock and key. We don't share with anybody. When teachers are sharing the sheets, whatever sheet, check sheets or the result sheets with each other or with the students, they should share through very safe platforms. So privacy of the student is very important. Like I keep on saying that data, information is the new oil, is the new currency. You know, getting into the wrong hands can be very, very detrimental for the future of that particular child. Then very important is, like I said, students look up to the teachers, and teachers have to be the role models. Teachers have to show the citizenship. I'm sure they do all the time, but in all their behaviors, they have to be the role model always. Now, coming to the responsibilities of the parents, I don't think I have to impress anybody about the responsibilities of the parents, but then let me kind of also, share these 4-5 points. So, as parents, like I said, we are so concerned about the safety of our children, and we caution our children against talking to strangers. We caution our children, you have to come back from the park before it's dark. Similarly, as parents, we have to advise, we have to mentor, we have to monitor the children. We have to guide them. So we also should, as parents, should monitor their online activities. You know what happens? That students, these days young people are very tech savvy. Okay, new device comes and they can actually handle the device very fast while the elders take a while. So the parents sometimes think, oh, my child is very tech savvy. He or she can never get into trouble. Yes, your child may be very tech savvy, but does your child have the experience of years? Does your child have that critical thinking, that analytical thinking? Has it been developed in that young mind to differentiate from good to good from bad, to connect with a stranger, not to connect with a stranger, to post or not to post? That wisdom has to come from. So communicate with your children, talk to the children, and become their friend. And it's not that, एक डंडा लेके खड़े हैं and lock and key लेके खड़े हैं. Become a sage by the side of your children who's guiding the children. Then coming to family digital footprints. Sharenting. I'm sure you would have heard of the term sharenting. Sharenting is share, so what happens? These days, selfie का ज़माना है. नए कपड़े पहने हैं, अच्छी outing पे जा रहे हैं, तो everybody wants to take selfie. And taking the selfie, it has to be posted on the social media platforms, because we have started to thrive on the external, likes and dislike. Somebody, how many likes I have got, how many thumbs ups I have got, how many thumbs down I have got. So we are so dependent on them. If we as parents keep on sharing the pictures and other details of our personal life online, what kind of role model we are for our children? So the family digital footprints have to be ensured. The child may be small, the child may be cute, and the child may be doing some activity like having bath for the first time. A lot of parents take the photos and post it. But these are the digital footprints which are not good for the child in later years. Imagine when the child is 15 and that photo of the child having bath comes up, how embarrassed that little boy would be or little girl would be. Coming to the parental controls, the parents also have to, like I said, that they have to monitor. And then certain objectionable words can be actually prevented from getting downloaded by certain apps. So there are a lot of apps. There are free apps, there are paid apps. And if you set those apps, if you download those apps, then certain videos or text or songs with certain words won't get downloaded. So lead by example. Like I said, parents have to lead by example. There are cases where on the dining table, the father or the mother will be actually busy with the phone, and when the child comes with a device, we say these are not allowed. So rules for the same have to be everybody in the house. And the parents have to lead by example. They have to set certain ground rules. How much screen time, with whom you are connecting, where the devices are kept. The parent should be able to see the screen of the younger children always. The screen should be towards the parents, so that while you are crossing the room or whatever, you know what your child is doing. I'm not saying snoop on your child, but definitely keep an eye on your child. And these ground rules are very, very important. What sites they can visit, how much time they can use the devices for. So these are the responsibilities of the parents. And when the parents exhibit these responsibilities, then automatically the children understand the right from wrong, and it helps them in their life. Now, coming to the responsibility of the schools, like I said, schools play
Nisha
a
ji,
huge role in developing the personality.
Nisha ji, so I request you to, if you can hurry up so that we can go to our next panelist, so that, and then if time permits, then we'll have the next round of thing where we'll come again to you, if that is fine.
Sir, yes, just a couple of slides more.
Sure.
The school needs to develop a cyber safety policy. Schools have ICT policies. So cyber safety policy on who should be accessing which document. And school has to ensure that the online learning platforms and apps are safe. Empowerment session for the teachers and students should be organized so that they are updated about the latest crimes and how to mitigate them. And definitely school has to ensure the privacy of student data, and the monitoring softwares should be installed in the school lab, because there are senior children and junior children most of the time use the same lab. So I will not go so much on the threats, which all of us are already aware of and will be also covered later. So leakage of personal data, private information, financial data can lead to huge issues like identity threat, blackmailing, financial frauds. And hacking of school data, we've heard of school data being hacked, and huge ransoms being asked. And definitely there are those DDoS attacks which are increasing day by day. Then we've also heard of bombing or raiding of learning platforms. It was very prevalent, Zoom platform earlier. Then they changed their firewalls and it has become secure now. Then unethical leads to harassment, bullying, and physical harm. So these are the threats to positive cyber safety culture. And as adults, we have to prevent the students from getting into all of these. So it's very important to create a culture of safety and responsibility and make world a happier and a safer place for the young netizens to thrive and succeed. It is our major responsibility. Yeah. So as I said that we had organized eRaksha competition 3 years, for past 3 years we've been organizing, and we've got more than 1 lakh entries. I will not spend time in talking about it. Please go on eraksha.net website. It is in collaboration with NCERT and one of the largest and most popular and most loved competition of for the students, teachers, parents, and the schools.
Yeah, thank you, Nisha ji, for highlighting the role of different stakeholders, be it parent, be it teacher, be it school, to ensure that we, end of the day, we create not only a habit, rather we call it a culture of safety and responsible citizen. So, as you rightly said, Cyber Peace and NCERT has been doing different initiatives, and the quiz that you mentioned is one such popular initiative. So, going ahead, I would like to invite the next panelist, Mr. Brijesh Singh, and request you to share your views and thoughts on this. Thank you.
Nisha ji brought up a very important subject of digital natives. And in fact, there was a viral video of a very small girl. When she was given a physical picture, she was trying to expand it with her fingers. So, we have come to this where these children are introduced to the digital world first and the physical world later. You also see, you must have traveled in planes where parents, so that the children should not cry, they just hand them over some device. Either they are playing some game, or they are listening to music or watching some videos. If you look at the screen time of these children, you will see that they have a large amount of interaction with the digital world, much less with the physical world. Now this has brought them to a place where they are vulnerable. Now there is a theory, when we study criminology, there is a theory of crime which is called rational choice theory. In this theory, it says that crime happens when the victim, offender, and opportunity, they come at one place. Now look at the internet. It is a place where the victim is available, the offender is crawling, and there is enough opportunity. And children are very vulnerable. They are very vulnerable to very different kinds of harms. We have delineated them. Uh, Primary amongst them is, sexual grooming and pedophilia. In fact, it has become a very, very big problem. There has been a lot of international consensus on this. Various technological measures have been taken. In fact, Europol has a large, program against child sexual abuse material. In the United States, all these platforms, social media platforms, have gotten together and formed something called NCMEC, which is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. On this platform, they voluntarily report child sexual abuse material. And you'll be amazed to know that then they send it to every country. Even in India, this is received in thousands per month. And then it is through National Crime Record Bureau sent to the states to take action on. So imagine this, that each of this material is basically a case where there is a victim and there is a serious offense which is taking place. It seems that probably last year 45 million of such pieces were reported by NCMEC. Now, this is just probably what a single platform or a consortium is reporting. It means that children are vulnerable and crime against children is rampant on these platforms. The irony is that somewhere there should have been some significant measures, both by society, both by government and by these platforms, where we prevent harm to children. And somehow, since these measures are failing, we see a rise in crime against children. Grooming is a very serious problem, and child groomers abound on the internet. Irony is that today children are using very different kind of applications than the parents. Like most of our generation would probably still be on Facebook, but children are on Snapchat, on different kind of platforms where the friend list is not visible, where there is end-to-end encryption, where there is no searchability, where you can selectively decide who should see your activity and not. For example, on Instagram, most of the children basically go and block certain activity to be viewed from the parents. See, today we are in a stage where children are technically more savvy and they spend more time on the devices and they know how to hide their tracks. Now, this has given a kind of a private space to children where they can do what they want. But listen, they do not have the maturity. They can handle devices. They are technically more savvy. Nishaji also said that being technically savvy does not prevent anybody from being a victim. In fact, probably the more savvy ones are the more prone ones. So you see that it's a large. I should say that even after COVID, when everything went online and you had to perforce give devices to children, this has become a huge problem, and this needs to be solved. This needs to be solved by having this concept of digital citizenship. Like what you don't do in real life, you should not do online. Do you go online and share your private pictures, talk about your emails, passwords, give your bank details, share the photos of your food to strangers? You don't do this, but you have started doing this online, and you don't even know what the other person is. In fact, groomers and predators, they have developed a modus operandus wherein they pretend to be children of particular age. So I've seen cases where these people maintain multiple profiles and they learn children's lingo. They know what is popular. If the children are listening to a particular, band of K-pop, then they would talk about that. They would know what is viral. For example, when Pokemon some years back was a big thing, then the child predators would talk about Pokemon. Or they would know the current tropes that are going on what is trending in the children, what they are talking about, how children talk. They pretend for long to be these children. And having established trust, then they start breaking boundaries. Breaking boundaries by, indulging in sexual innuendos, by encouraging them to share intimate pictures. And this then goes on either to a demand for meeting physically, which becomes very, very dangerous, and children have been trafficked by this. There have been kidnappings and children have been trafficked. And this is actually one of the primary ways today in which children are lured out of their safety of homes and trafficked outside. So it's a real physical harm of children getting trafficked outside. Otherwise, there is a series of blackmail where children end up paying money, where they end up indulging in activities which are determined by their predator. We have investigated cases where children have been blackmailed, sexually blackmailed into committing more acts, into, let's say if a child has shared a particular photo or video, then they have threatened the child that we are going to share this to everybody, we are going to tell your parents, unless and until you do this and this. Not only that, there is a commercial market for child sexual abuse material. There is a set of people with perverted minds who on darknet are paying for this kind of perverted material. And on let us say the standard platforms like probably Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, there are today filters and there are mechanisms wherein such material is at times automatically detected and when reported brought down. But what about messengers which are peer-to-peer and end-to-end encrypted? For example, on Telegram you can have groups of 10,000 people or channels where you can keep on sharing these materials. You can go on WhatsApp, you can go on other messengers which are not mineable, which are not searchable. You don't know where this material is going. Children by nature are trusting. So they would be basically, sending these pictures to each other without knowing what are the implications of, sharing these particular pictures. They go to these platforms in their own name. They do not know that there is an element of safety by assuming screen names, assuming avatars, not giving your real home address, not posting pictures of your pets, not sharing your personal details, because there is a whole economy out there of using children's data and also of predators and also of online criminals who are looking to pounce upon the children for various kind of gains. It may be financial gain. There have been cases where even the parents have been targeted through children. So in a case where a parent was dealing with some very critical technology sector and they tried to hack him, they could not hack him. So they sent an email to his son. And the son finally, through his son's email, the home network got infected. Through the home network, this father's phone, this father's laptop got infected. And in fact, then finally the whole corporation got compromised. Imagine this, the lengths at which criminals are going to attack people, finding children as a vulnerable target. Somewhere we need to initiate a talk with children. While growing up, even till I was in engineering, my father, once in 2 months, he would sit down with me and he would say, what's happening? Who are your friends? And what are you doing nowadays? Whom do you enjoy going out most with? We would, through a normal communication, try to ascertain if my relationship with my friends were healthy, if these people were the right kind of influence in life. And then he would go on to say that, not that I dislike this friend or that friend of yours, but it would be better that if you could reduce your time with this person, because it seems that it is not leading to the right things. This kind of communication we are not having. Nishaji also, brought about this whole analogy of like traffic training, training children on this information superhighway. I earlier used to handle traffic, and we have a whole branch which goes to schools and teaches children, road safety, how to cross road, and if at all they are coming to the age of driving or learning licenses, then about vehicle safety and various other things. Somewhere we have left our children unattended on this information superhighway. Now, how do we allow our children to be mowed down by predators? And this is actually an abdication of responsibility. I'm really thankful to NCERT that you have brought about something which is the need of the hour. It needs to be told to parents, it needs to be told to children, it needs to be told to society, schools, to governments, and to these platforms, wherein everybody needs to take measures. So there is parental control software which you can put. Till your child is 18, there is no question of privacy. You will have to monitor. I understand children today are very careful about their privacy. Even to go into their rooms, you have to knock and ask, may I come in? Imagine this, when we were growing up, if our parents had to do this, they would knock somewhere else. So, I'm not recommending, any kind of knocking. But what I intend to say is that let's not take these ideas of privacy to the wrong end. Somewhere you need to know who are the children talking to on internet. Do they know these people? What kind of communication are they having? What have they shared? Sometimes children, after getting compromised, after having sent something to somebody, they do not understand the implications. They think that they are sending something from one phone to other. It's not so. It's going to remain on, probably 20 servers across the world. Even if you are sending something to somebody in the next building, it's actually basically going across servers on the world where it's going to stay forever and it may come back to haunt you. So we are in a situation where the digital world is like a tattoo. It's going to never forget you. It's going to remain on you. And something which you may share may be used by somebody. And even when you are not responsible, you look at the loan app scams which are happening nowadays, that they ask you to download a particular app. That app gets access to all your contacts, all your pictures, and then they start blackmailing you by taking your pictures, morphing them, and then sending to your relatives. And imagine this, people have committed suicide over this. So internet has become a huge unsafe place. See, when these platforms came about, it was thought to be the new digital square, new public square, new town hall, where everybody would be able to freely share their ideas, discuss with trust, equality, and responsibility. But that seems to be happening. Apart from that, it has also given pedophiles, extremists, fraudsters, and any kind of criminals a free run, where they are approaching their victims and having a free run because of anonymity, because of encryption, because of technologies of anti-forensics. And even for law enforcement, it is difficult to track these people because these accounts are not linked to real identities. Now, there was a demand earlier that social media accounts should be linked to some kind of a proper identity, but that has not happened. Today, when we investigate frauds, we find that a phone number or an account has been made with some kind of false documents, and it leads us nowhere. So, it has reduced the ability of law enforcement to actually tackle this kind of criminals. Our earlier methods of keeping records on criminals, of keeping regular checks on criminals, of checking them physically, they do not work in the cyberspace. So somewhere, as a society, we would have to sort of prevent it, teach norms of digital citizenship, see to it that the trust in internet and overall safety improves. Nice tips have been given by Nisha ji, but somewhere parents need to have this communication with children as to what is happening on internet, because children today are clearing their browser histories, using different kind of browsers, using almost kind of anti-forensic and anonymous methodologies so that their activities cannot be traced. But what are they hiding? What is the need to hide? And are they, by doing this, becoming more vulnerable and subject to crime? This has to be understood. There are simple norms which parents can discuss with children, which in the West there is something called an internet pact, where children sit down with parents and decide that this is what is doable and this is not doable. And also, children need to have a talk with parents, an honest talk about what they have faced. Many children have faced various kinds of, threats, right from cyberbullying, which has become a very serious problem today, to somebody threatening them, to attempts of somebody, wanting to fleece them, defraud them, or take their money out.
Right, sir.
So these are the threats. I believe that it's a wonderful initiative by NCERT and Cyberpeace, and I believe that concrete steps needs to be taken.
Yeah. So thank you, sir, for highlighting some of the real examples that that shows how our youths, our children are particularly vulnerable to internet and cyber world. So another particular point I would like to highlight or bring it here is today's fantasy games. They are being promoted, they are being advertised in a big way, right? Fantasy game as well as many other such online video games are hugely popular, not only among children but also among youths as well. So I would like to hear your thoughts because I believe this impacts their cyber safety, their financial safety and responsibility in overall as well. So what is your thoughts about what precautions these users of these fantasy games and online other such digital games and video games, how vulnerable they are, and what are basic precautions one should keep in mind while taking part in this?
In the West there is a self-regulation where there are ratings for games, and Europe has one. The US has at least two rating agencies which basically rate the games for everything, about violence, about language, about nudity, about the kind of activities that the child is engaging in games. See, apart from the content in games, game addiction is also a huge problem. In India, I think there is no regulation on games. It's high time that the gaming industry itself, or probably the government, comes up with a set of regulatory principles wherein you decide what is age appropriate for which game, and what should be allowed. In China, the game regulation is so strict that you cannot show blood. So earlier, in all Chinese games, they used to show blood as green. Today, China has again regulated and they say you cannot show blood at all, even green color. So today in China, if you shoot inside a game, they show just a puff of smoke. They do not show blood at all. So I'm not recommending that we should become like China, but I think that there should be a body which should examine the content of game, about aspects of game which are making it addictive, about including protections. So, game rating is essentially
right. So I got it. So you are basically saying there should be regulation either at the government level or self-regulation by the industry as well. So that is the need of the hour. And I once again want to thank both the panelists, my co-panelists, for sharing your valuable thoughts on this. And I would like to hand over to Ms. Tanvi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Brajesh, sir, for your opinion, for all the information you gave. And you very rightly gave a few examples where you said that if somebody is passing on any message or any photograph to another building, that's not just to one phone to another. It's going to multiple servers and we need to take care of it. It's just not the responsibility of police to take care of the individuals or netizens. It's the netizens' responsibility as well to take care of themselves. So thank you so much, sir, and thank you so much, Nisha ma'am, for highlighting multiple things, especially enlightening the parents about their responsibilities and even schools. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your time and for being a part of this program. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Rizal, sir, for taking out time and for organizing this entire panel discussion. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So this was an entire...
Thank you, NCERT, for this initiative. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you to NCERT as well as Cyberpeace Foundation for this entire initiative. So this was a discussion on creating the culture of cyber safety and responsibilities. If in case you have missed watching this program, then please watch it again on NCRT Official. That is our YouTube channel. And for queries, you can always mail us on cybersafety@ciat.nic.in. Thank you so much. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. We have our next program, and that is Sahyog. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Please raise your questions, and thank you once again. Take great care of yourself. Namaskar.